grew up in Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. Been in farming for generations. My family grew kind of the typical North Carolina crop mixture on rotation. Tobacco, you can't farm in North Carolina and not grow tobacco. Sweet potatoes, cotton, soybeans, corn, wheat. Kept a vegetable garden growing up as well. Garden being loose term, Grandma had about 3 acres of gardens. North Carolina being an agricultural state, it's just mind-boggling to think we're a powerhouse producer, very blessed with the climate that we've got. And then you look at things like, we've got people in rural areas that are still going hungry.
The hardest part about my job is convincing people that hunger is actually real. If you haven't experienced it or if you haven't been there, then it's really hard to believe that we're in the richest country in the world and that we have people that have to choose between paying rent and buying food, or taking a loved one to the hospital or buying food. Single moms, single dads who didn't ask for that situation. They're doing the right thing. They're working. They're balancing their checkbook. They're watching their spending. And all of a sudden they had a blowout on their car. And now the money that they were gonna go to the grocery store with is the money that they now have to put into getting a tire so that they can go to work. So the face of hunger has certainly changed over the years. There's a perception that people have when we talk about hunger. And the first question they ask is like, yeah, well, you guys serve a lot of the homeless population. But that makes up about 6% of the individuals that we serve. The majority of the families that we serve, they look like you and they look like me.
According to the USDA, more than 38 million Americans, including 12 million children, are food insecure. Inter-Faith Food Shuttle is working to end hunger in North Carolina. Started in 1989 by 2 women who found it unacceptable that a local fast food joint would throw away unsold breakfast sandwiches every day at lunchtime, Inter-Faith Food Shuttle has never been your ordinary food bank. In 2021, they distributed nearly 9 million pounds of food. Over 6 million of that was perfectly good food that would have ended up in a landfill. Their recovery and distribution efforts are supported today by a full-scale farm with community gardens across Raleigh-Durham and powerful programs rooted in sustainability, like the Spinning Plate food truck, delivering free, delicious meals in places where fresh food can be hard to find.
I love taking it out. It's the highlight of my day.
What are you cooking this morning?
So today I have a Tuscan chicken with mashed potatoes and green beans with a lemon butter sauce. I always love cooking. My aunt inspired me. She couldn't read or write, but she could cook.
Do you remember any recipes she taught you or anything you really love to eat of hers?
Fried chicken and gravy with grits.
How you frying the chicken, though?
You trying to get my family secrets?
Deja was born and raised in Raleigh, North Carolina. In 9th grade, she signed up for Inter-Faith Food Shuttle's Cooking Matters program, where she learned to cook healthy meals on a budget.
I was always kind of curious on how the chefs work in the kitchen.
She applied to the Food Shuttle's culinary apprenticeship program, and when she graduated in 2020, she was offered her dream job.
Inter-Faith Food Shuttle has changed my life. Since working here, I've bought a car, I've moved out of my parents' house, which is rare for someone my age. So it really has been the stepping block for me.
You guys are taking food that sometimes is not going to be used and you're figuring out ways to make it into something amazing, right?
Yes.
So what are some of those creations you've come up with?
I've had a blueberry barbecue rib. Yes, and that's one of my favorites. I feel like a proud North Carolinian being able to make that recipe.
Culinary innovation like this requires fresh, seasonal produce from the Food Shuttle farm.
We're on about 14 acres. It's almost a year-round vegetable production. The farm last year was just shy of 70,000 pounds of production. Pre-COVID, we would have somewhere around 2,000 volunteers a year come out. People love to come out in 90-degree heat and harvest squash. I still don't understand it, but I'm really happy that they do.
This farm actually served as a safe haven for so many veterans. So many programs that veterans are used to or needed have been canceled because of COVID. But because we were open and you were able to social distance, many of those veterans were able to come out and still have that mental relief because they were able to put their hands in the dirt, do something positive, and help us keep our programs and seniors served. We have over 2,000 seniors that receive grocery bags of fresh produce right from this farm. And we realized the social impact that it has on those seniors' lives. But then we had to look at, well, what is the environmental impact? Well, we're putting out more than 2,000 plastic bags every month to these seniors. So what can we do about it? And what we did is we went to biodegradable bags. So now there's a neutral or no impact to the environment. So in all of our activities, from the cardboard that we pack in to the vehicles that we run, we always look at what is our impact with that triple bottom line.
Sustainability is really kind of a key component of agriculture in general, but for us, it ensures that we've got years and years to come. So we incorporate a lot of different practices that really make our job a little bit easier. We grow with drip irrigation, we implement cover cropping, we intentionally plant pollinators.
We're actually partnering here right now at the farm with a local bee company. Not only are we educating community members about the importance of bees, but so many families are benefiting because of the pollination and the food that's being grown here.
We use mulching as a way to suppress weeds and also build the soil.
You'll see that the fields are rotated. That gives that piece of property there a chance to kind of refertilize and kind of heal. And that way, the next time it's ready to be planted, the soil is just that much richer. We're able to teach so many people that they can do this for themselves. So you don't have to worry about spending the dollars on the pesticides.
Right.
We can teach you how to make your own compost, So this is really empowering people to take care of themselves.
Many of the communities served by Inter-Faith Food Shuttle are considered food deserts, places where there are no realistic options for securing affordable and healthy food. The closest thing to a grocery store is a corner mart or a gas station.
I really think that it boils down to a lack of industry and economy in those areas that cause retailers to pull out because it's not advantageous for business to occur there. Kind of irony in it is those areas exist in some of the biggest production areas in the state. So it's definitely an exercise in logistics to be able to create solutions for that. We take a community that we're serving and say, hey, are there farmers in this area that we could work with to provide food in this area for their neighbors?
We're not going in with what we think this community needs, but we're going in and engaging and identifying why the need is there in the first place. So we understand that access to food might be a barrier. We also understand that transportation may be a barrier. Well, the food shuttle, transportation is not our focus, but we have partners that are in our network where that's their focus. And by us collectively addressing that community's need, that community is better able to sustain themselves.
So we have a program called Gardens for Everyone. My honest opinion when we started it, I was like, man, that's, I don't know. We started getting feedback from people and shocked the socks off of me to see some of the pictures of one year, somebody that had very limited experience growing, and just by putting a few resources in somebody's hands, what they were able to do with it. They are just into their garden. It's, just spilling over with produce.
Education is one of the most powerful tools that we have in order to be able to change your circumstances. And I think what's really powerful is when folks don't feel alone. Knowing that you have a community that supports you and knowing that you have someplace to come together.
Inter-Faith Food Shuttle has 2 community-centered learning gardens, one in Durham and one on Camden Street in Raleigh.
My name is Shai. I actually grew up down the street, like literally down the street on this street. I started gardening here a couple years ago, and it has just become a huge passion of mine. I've just really taken off with it. I love to share my harvest, so I share some with my family, I share some with my friends, coworkers, everybody. When I was pregnant, everybody just rallied around me. Do you need me to water your bed? Do you need me to help you clear the bed? Do you need me to help plant this or plant that? I just really love the sense of community that we have. Ancestrally, there's been a lot of farmers and sharecroppers and people doing agricultural work in my family throughout history. And so I'm super excited to be here just because I'm keeping that tradition alive.
See if we can find another color. These are multicolored carrots. So I'm going to see if we can find a white or a purple one. Here we go. You got a purple one?
We're kind of partners. Barbara actually is the one that talked me into this. I would have never been gardening, but she finally twisted my arm, and I'm so happy. I love
She's a natural. We've met a lot of nice people, the other gardeners, so we have that in common. I really enjoy it. I enjoy being outside. Mm-hmm. It's like you can hear the birds, and you're communing with nature, and every now and then a pesky squirrel will come by.
Or that gopher. We have this gopher.
If you're growing it yourself, we could pick it at the right season, and that's why it tastes so good.
It's healthy. I'm telling you, my nutrition values have skyrocketed, actually. Mm-hmm. I'm eating more vegetables, and it's so easy.
It's a money saver.
To do it, and you're doing it yourself. You don't have to worry about pesticides. It's a win-win situation. I'm so thankful. I thank her for, bringing me here.
The gates are always open at Camden Street Learning Garden, where the community is invited to harvest freely. In 2021, Maggie, Barbara, Shai, and their neighbors helped grow and distribute over 2,000 pounds of food in just 2,500 square feet. And that's not counting what they took home to their families.
These are individuals that are getting up every morning, going to work, and they're looking and praying for a miracle. We've all had the experience where we may have missed our cup of coffee, or a meeting ran long and we missed lunch and we ran into another meeting. And we know how irritable we can be as adults when that happened. I can't imagine what a 7-year-old might be thinking when they show up to school on Monday and hadn't eaten all weekend and is expected to learn.
Inter-Faith Food Shuttle's Backpack Buddies and School Pantries programs give nutritious meals to 5,000 children in 28 school pantries across 4 counties. And now, students and their parents are learning to grow their own food.
The Growing School Gardens program is invested in teaching schools that are really passionate about providing food for their communities. So most of the schools that we're working with right now, over 50% of their student population are receiving either free or reduced price meals. The past couple years, Millbrook has extended the grade levels that are participating, and they have also opened up their garden boxes to be used by families during the summer.
We're seeing the benefits of these programs. We're seeing more kids off to college now, simply because food was never a barrier. We're seeing children performing better in school, behaving better in school, because food is not a barrier. At the Food Shuttle, we have a rule: there is no box. So think about something and be creative. The Air Force gave me that opportunity. I was with the chaplaincy, so I didn't have a specific role that I had to do every day. I got a chance to talk to so many soldiers and then hear their reasons, their purposes, their rationales. And I realized that each individual had a story as to why they were serving their country. That's where their security is coming from. That's where their hope is coming from. And I apply that same model to our team. Each one of them have a story. That's their driving force. That's what makes them give everything that they have to this work and to this mission. We never let fear keep us from doing the right thing. We understand that there's a stigma. We understand that there's already a level of uncomfortability to walking into a pantry and say, hey, I need help. At any point in time, any one of us can be in any position on that systems framework. We can be the neighbor that needs the assistance. We can be the neighbor that supports the assistance. We can be the neighbor that works in government and help with the policies that remove these systemic barriers. What we've seen over COVID is so many families coming into the pantries for the very first time. And sometimes they'll call first because they used to be a donor. And now they're asking, how can I benefit from these services? I lost my mother at a very early age. She died at 36 in a car accident. And my father left with 4 kids. After losing a young wife and having the responsibility of 4 kids, it became very difficult for him. He actually lost his job. My grandmother, she knew of a place called the Food Trust. We would go down in my granddad's pickup truck and we would pick up food for not just our family, but for several other families in the neighborhood. So food was always present. It wasn't anything that I missed. You know, it didn't matter to me that it came from the food bank because it was there. And so looking back, I realized I was able to be a child. So I was hoping, I was dreaming, I was playing. And so coming back home after that time, I found out about the local food bank and they were looking for someone. And I started in the warehouse pulling orders. And one day I had an opportunity to go along with the director. He was talking to a Rotary group. He began to tell a story about a single parent who was raising children and why it was so important for the food bank to have food. And it dawned on me, he's telling my story. And after some more conversations and riding back with him, this was the same gentleman that ran the food bank 13 years earlier when me and my grandmother used to go there. And that's the same gentleman that gave me my very first opportunity in the world of food banking. And so for the past 23 years, I've been working trying to pay him back.